Hey, good evening, everybody. Uh, I'm Sean, and that guy over there is Big Mike. Uh, Tonight, we have a really good show lined up for you guys tonight. We've got Fire Baby, Britney in the house, getting ready to throw down some knowledge on what you should bring and what you should do for a show. I think it's going to be really good. Mike, do you want to go ahead and pay some bills real quick, sir?
Yeah, we appreciate official sponsor Chris Eaton and the Fat Man tomorrow night, which is Sunday, August 3rd, over on the Fat Man Nation at 9 p.m. And then also he's going to be at the CRBE in September 13th and 14th there at the Canadian Reptile Breeder Expo.
That's
And
going to
then
be nice.
yeah, we also have Joe Fisherman from J Fisherman Photography. He does custom frames, reptile photography. So you can find him over there on Facebook at J Fisherman Photography.
Right there. There it is. All right, thank you for that, Mike. So let's get it started. So all right, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and bring Brittany out now, and let's get this show started. Hey, Brittany, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, hey Sean, hey Mike.
Hey Brittany, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I love it. I love sharing the knowledge.
Awesome.
We hear you have a lot of great knowledge.
I hope so. I came prepared, so we'll see. What comes up. If people are here and they have questions, then maybe we can answer some of those.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
you guys, if you have questions, get them ready for sure. So let's see who's in the chat tonight. Oh, first, Dickie Forster. Sorry, man. I know it's probably not how you say your name, but every time I see it, I just want to say it like that. Dickie.
And if there's hang on a second. If anybody that watches that's right around Virginia, the Lynchburg, Virginia area, Dickie Foster, he's looking for live rats in that area. If anybody knows anything, contact him or me, and I'll get you in contact with him.
Big Mike with the plug. All right. And then Big Mike double dipping, of course. Oh, that's the kiddo right there. What's up, baby girl? Hi, Shauna. Thank you for showing up, coming in and watching. Appreciate you giving us your time.
Appreciate it.
We got James for All City Serpents. What's up, James? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Platinum Morse. Well, that's I know me and Mike are doing well. Brittany seems to be doing well tonight, so I'd say we're all doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Doing good.
Let's see who else we got on here. All right, I think we're all caught up at this time. All right, awesome. So we're gonna go like this. You can go there. So I want to go to a show.
Yeah.
What do I need to bring with me?
Right. If you want to vend a show, I guess the first thing to talk about would be what to bring. So obviously you're going to bring what you have for sale. So you're going to be bringing animals. And I guess the first kind of topic to jump into is the idea of a display. There are many different kinds of displays that you can purchase that are manufactured and meant for reptiles to be displayed in at shows. And then there is the school of thought that you can just put delis out, and delis can sometimes do well. We were having a discussion last night on one of the Patreon calls with Billy Rose, and delis versus displays, and which one is better, which one is, going to make more sales, basically. And, it was put out there that sometimes maybe delis do sell a little bit better. And I will tell you from my experience, we usually have some delis, and then we also have the ARS displays. And anything that has a higher value is always going to be under lock and key. So anything that is above, $300-$400, That's getting locked up in a display. If it is something under that, you know, a lower price point, or just, you know, we didn't have room in the displays or whatever the case may be, we keep an eye on our delis. But the lower end stuff will typically be what ends up in the delis. And that way people can kind of like look through and pick what they like and take it home. But when it comes to the displays, again, having a lock on there, I think, is super important for the higher end stuff.
You want to tell the kids at home what a deli is?
Oh, delis. So like the plastic containers with, like, you put the snake in and you put the lid on. Please make sure there are holes so you don't suffocate
Yes.
your animals. Have
Yes,
holes
it has
in
to have
the deli
holes.
containers. There's also like the clamshell ones that have the hinge. So we typically use the clamshell ones. But you can purchase delis from, you know, almost any reptile kind of supply place. They'll sell you delis that usually already have holes in them, which is kind of nice. But anyway, you're going to bring snakes. So number one on my list of supplies to bring, besides just the animals, is paper towels. You always need paper towels. You never have enough. Yes. So I always have like at least a roll and then a backup roll, right?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna poop in the displays and they're gonna urate in the displays. And you know, or on people. Unfortunately, I've had that happen more than once, and had to help people clean up
more than I'd like to admit.
on the floor, and just, yeah. So paper towels would be number one on my list. And kind of going along with that, it depends on what show you vend. Sometimes they will provide garbage cans nearby that you can throw the waste away. Sometimes the garbage can's not going to be there, or it's going to be a little further away. Again, it just depends on the show and how prepared they were for all of this. And so I always bring my own trash bags. So that is for, you know, if we bring snacks or drinks and we empty those out, we have somewhere to put them. Or
You almost have to bring snacks and drinks, though, don't you?
Oh, it's on my list.
Yeah, especially if you're vending by yourself and you can't like leave to throw something away, or, you know, stuff like that.
100%. I have vended both with my partner in business and also by myself. And it is, you know, I guess we'll kind of get into that as far as like networking with other vendors and making those relationships work, especially if you are vending by yourself. But again, having a trash bag so that you have somewhere to put things that you don't want to just leave on your table that maybe smell bad, you know, have a trash bag. And then other things that you might not think about, having pens, Sharpies, extra chalk markers. If you're somebody that uses chalk to mark your displays, have a backup of those. We always make sure that when something is going home, whether it's going home in a deli or it's going home in a bag, we will use the Sharpies to write the identification of those animals before they go home. So that way, you know, once they get home, they're not like, oh no, I don't remember what this is that I have. You know, it's already written on there for them, and they can, you know, take a picture or whatever the case may be. And then just having regular ballpoint pens, because usually, at least it shows that I vend, they will come around and have you sign up for the next show. So you're going to need something to write with. So just very basic, but again, you might not think about bringing something to write with.
Especially that chalk marker, man. If you're going to go and have a sale at like the last hour or two of the show, you know, you put that line through your price and then put a new price right down under it. It usually gets people's eyes right there. Oh, I can save money.
Well, and that's a good point too. Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Brittany. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Especially like with the ink pen you were talking about, and a lot of times some people will run out of their business cards and they can just jot it down on like a notepad or a sticky note and give it to the customer that way, because they might not have, you know, the money, you know, at the moment, and they say, well, okay, well, what is this animal? And you just write it down if it has a code, you know, like on Clutch or Husbandry Pro or even your code, and you just write that code down and say, okay, what's the code over the phone, and say, okay, I still have that animal. That way the customer knows exactly what it was.
Excellent point. I didn't even think about that, but that's so true. And that kind of goes into my next thing on my list, which is business cards. And I not only vend reptile shows, but I go to a lot of reptile shows. You know, it's like the happy place where we go when we just need our little reptile fix, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone up to somebody's table and looked at something and said, wow, that's a really incredible animal. And exactly what you said, Mike. I'm not ready right now, but can I take a picture of it with your business card so I know who to contact? And they're like, oh, I don't have a business card. You got to have business cards. We give them out like hotcakes. Like I always make sure I have at least like a stack of 100, and we give them out constantly. I don't care if you bought from me or you didn't buy from me. You're walking away from my table with a business card, and you're going to remember that name. And
You still use the paper business cards?
I do use paper. I intentionally don't do gloss because, again, like Mike said, I also intentionally leave the back blank because that way I can write any additional information on the back of the card that they might need. Again, sometimes it's the snake ID, sometimes it's a phone number or, you know, a person to contact for rodents or whatever the case may be. So I make them paper, I make the back blank, and I always have pens.
There you go.
Yep. And then I don't know about you guys, but I like to give things away, especially to the little people that are, you know, walking through the show and seeing some of these animals for the first time. So stickers, right? Doing sticker exchanges with other vendors or doing, you know, giving stickers out to kids. Again, it's just like it's a cheap little thing that puts a smile on someone's face, or, you know, you made a sale, here's a sticker so you can put it on your enclosure and you know where you got it from. It's networking. I mean, it's a way to get your name out there, even if they, you know, maybe don't buy from you. Maybe somebody will ask them, hey, what's that? You know, who is that? Mm-hmm. And maybe they'll buy. You just never know. So even having little things like stickers at the table to hand out, I think it just says like you care and you are professional. Do you guys do stickers?
I love doing stickers.
Yeah, stickers or like a hand stamp. I found some like with snakes and stars and you know, my mom won't let me get a real snake, but here, just give them a little hand stamp of a little snake. So,
yeah,
that's cool. I've never tried the stamp thing before,
I've
Mike.
Never tried that either. Yeah. I like that.
Thanks for coming in, Kristen from Dark Desire Pythons. We appreciate it.
Yeah. And then next on my list is another one that. So some vendors will bring this, some vendors will not bring this. And if the vendors don't bring it, they're going to go to another customer, or the people walking around are going to go to somebody else's table to get it. And that's hand sanitizer. So we always have the jumbo, big old bottle of hand sanitizer with one of our stickers on the front. So we know it's ours. So it doesn't walk away. But that big old bottle of hand sanitizer just goes down during the show.
And it'll be like somebody will be at a different table. They'll look back, they see your hand sanitizer there. They're like,
"Can I borrow that for a minute?"
Yeah, and they go hold somebody else's steak, and you're like,
"Yep,
what just happened here?"
Mm-hmm.
And you get the big bottle for like $5.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an extra expense in a way, but it's not a big expense. And again, it's, you know, anybody that comes up to your table and says, hey, can I touch that? Hey, can I hold that? Have you touched anything else at the show today? Well, yes, I have. All right, you're going to need to hand sanitize. Have you not touched anything at the show today? Then it's 50-50, depending on like if I'm going to make you hand sanitize anyway, or if I feel comfortable in letting you interact with one of my animals without it. You know, always make sure it's rubbed in. Obviously, you don't want to get the alcohol on the animal. But yeah, hand sanitizer.
Everybody sanitizes before they touch.
Yeah. Well, and it was also brought up again on the call last night that hand sanitizer, while it is good for some things, and as a microbiology professor, I can tell you, we've done experiments in lab, alcohol is actually a pretty good antimicrobial. But it doesn't, it's not 100%, right? So there are still certain viruses and things that can be transmitted from table to table. So it was suggested to, instead of doing hand sanitizer, have disposable gloves. And then if people want to handle something, then they can use the disposable gloves to do so. For me personally, I think that's a little bit off-putting to say, oh, put these gloves on before, because you want to touch it, right? Like you want to feel what it feels like. And you can't really do that with gloves on, especially if it's the first time.
Well, I mean, you could tell them they can free glove it if they buy it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Might be a way to make a sale. But yeah, so I think that's personal preference, whether you have people use hand sanitizer or wear gloves, or, you know, if you're going to go with nothing, then that's a personal choice. And for us, it's always hand sanitizer before you are going to interact with our animals.
I'm pretty sure mites don't like alcohol either. So
Correct.
that's the biggest thing I'm worried about at a show. And people bring their snakes with RI to these shows, and it's like, oh my god, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, that's terrible. You don't want to come home with any RIs, any mites. RI means
No,
respiratory
no.
infection for those that are new. Yeah. So if you are going to make a sale and you have these beautiful displays, where are you going to put that animal for them to go home? So make sure you're bringing either snake bags or, again, clamshells, delis, something for them to go home in. And make sure you have an ample supply of them. And if you are bringing hatchlings and then subadults and then adults, you
Of the
might
appropriate
have,
size.
exactly, you might need to have some
Yeah.
different sizes. For us personally, I just go to the dollar store and I buy a bunch of pillowcases, and that's what the adults go home in. I try and color coordinate with like our colors, like so it'll either be like the blue or the red.
Yeah.
So I try and color coordinate it, but it's the dollar store. You can't be too picky. But
Yeah.
it's still yes, it's a cheap thing to do, but it's also a safe thing to do for the animal so that they have plenty of air and ventilation, and they're going to get home safe in a bag. You can buy the professional snake bags, but again, to me, one cloth bag is the same as a pillowcase. So I just buy
Yeah.
the pillowcases
Yep.
for the adults. But the littler guys, we typically do the clamshells or a smaller actual snake bag.
I have a
Yeah,
quick question for you. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
You said you guys do the deli cups and the ARS displays.
Correct.
Have you noticed if you have like the same snake, whether it be like a banana clown in the deli cups and also a banana clown in, for instance, like in the ARS? I've always noticed that people tend to pick up the deli cup before they'll even ask to see the one in the display. Have you
Yeah,
noticed that in
I
some
agree.
shows?
I
I
would
agree
agree
as
with
well.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
The delis, they're just, to people, they're more accessible
they're a
than
faster
something
way
that's
to
loud.
put it in the
It's
hand.
exactly, they can immediately pick it up and get a closer look at it. Whereas in the
Hmm.
displays, they can't, they would have to lean in or they would have to ask you to get it out to get a closer look at it. Which is something that we always tell people, again, even if they're just like, as they're walking through the show and they pass by our table and maybe they stop and take a quick look, we're like, immediately we're like, if you want a closer look, we will get it out for you. It's not a problem. We're not super, I don't care if you're there to buy or you're there to look. Like, we're happy to get them out and show you just so you can enjoy the animals because you paid to get in here. And, again, you might make a sale, you might not, but we're happy to
Yeah,
do that. Yeah.
it's always like educating the kids and even the adults. If they're not going to buy, they're just there looking to kill time, or if they're from out of town, like in the summer visiting, and like what I told, I was like, I asked the lady, I was like, is there, it's the same snake, she goes, no, she goes, I'm just too shy, or my sister's shy, and like don't want to bother you, 'cause, it's, you're not bothering us. We wouldn't want to interact with you, and and let you hold and look at either one that you want. So I
Yeah,
just found that
exactly.
some people say that they're a little shy to talk to to the people because they don't want to be like a burden, like you were saying and stuff. So
Right. Like, you have to have that engagement. And,
mhm.
that's something else that I do want to talk about. Um,
Yeah. And then I invite them behind the table. I was like, well, you can't be shy now. You get to help me talk to people.
right.
While everybody else is looking, and that just makes, like, I think the little boy, he was like 10 years old, that bought a Pied ball from me, and he was just so excited. Like, that's the best thing he's ever done. I mean, it was exciting for me. And his mom was
That's
just taking pictures, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I got a leopard gecko. I can't say no names or whatever, but it got sold last week during my Palm Street, and it's gonna be the customer's kid's birthday gift.
Hmm.
So I threw in a couple of shirts and a cool gecko, but they've
Oh,
had, like, the last 2 weeks. It's been heat delay, so
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
even that little bit can, they make them smile even more.
Oh yeah, dude, I
That's what it's all
can't
about.
wait.
Some people should not be walking away from your table frowning, right? They should be walking away with
Yep.
a smile on their face. And part of having a smile on their face is making sure that everything that you have in your displays or in your delis or however you set your table up is clean. And I will say I'm a little guilty of this right now. My tablecloth and my banner both need to be put through the washing machine. But having, if you're using delis, clean them out in between each one. If you're using displays, you clean them out in between each show, right? You don't want to have, grimy, nasty looking displays. You want it to look like you care and like those animals are well cared for. And having dirty displays is kind of a red flag that you are not maybe taking as good a care of your animals as you should be.
Yeah, a lot of people will just keep walking.
100%. But also, we use the ARS, which are glass, so we can use paper towels on those. I also have acrylic displays, which we don't use currently because we don't need to, but the acrylic displays, if that is the route that you go, you need to stock up on microfiber cloths because you can scratch the heck out of them even just using a paper towel. So special spray, which I don't know what exact spray to use. It came with my displays, so it's like a special cleaning spray that's safe for acrylic, and then the microfiber cloths to clean them off. So
ARS got the glass option now.
They're well, and weight wise,
so much heavier.
The acrylics are like nothing compared to those ARS
glass ones.
Good grief, are they heavy? But I hear that's nothing next to the next level displays that come with, next level displays are next level. I mean, they come with heat and lighting and all this fancy schmancy stuff. But from what I've heard, they're like super heavy, even heavier than ARS. Something else to consider when you're getting displays is you're going to have to be hauling these things around. And, this was not on my list, but since you brought it up, what do you call them? Why am I having a brain fart right now? Yes, that. The thing you push, a dolly, right? Like, or a cart or something.
Yeah. Or some type of freaking, Because,
when we didn't have a dolly and Brian, my partner, was carrying the ARS displays, one in each hand. I mean, he's a muscular dude, but he was sweating, like carrying them from outside in the car to the table. And I'm like, let's get a dolly. And he's like, no, we don't need a dolly. I'll just carry them. And then I got the dolly and we've never looked back. He's like, thank goodness for this dolly, because those displays are heavy. And the totes that we bring things in are also not very light. So having a dolly, I got mine on Facebook Marketplace. There are so many things, even displays, even snake wraps. Like, I love Facebook Marketplace and I stalk that and like pick up all the reptile things that I can for cheap. So you don't have to spend big bucks. You can find good deals. Even Craigslist. I got this rack behind me on Craigslist. It's a Freedom Breeder rack. I paid less than if it was new. So,
I'm torn. I'm torn like between the acrylic displays and the ARS. Like the acrylic, I'm scared I'm going to scratch them because I might bump into them or knock something over off on them. But some people, well, you need lighting. Well, I can get the JSA lighting or even a lamp. I know Krista from Neurify Exotic, she had sent me a link where she paid like $50 for a light, and she said it looks just as good. So I'm just kind of torn in between those two companies for the display. I know a couple of years ago when I was vending, I had purchased the ARS display for like $150. I mean, that thing was heavy. Me trying to walk with the cane in one hand and wobble, with the ARS display filled full of snakes, it was kind of tough. So the dolly would help me out a lot.
Yeah. For sure.
Just a little pro tip, y'all. Most of these places are like at convention centers or hotels, and so what I normally do is I find like a cart or something like that. That's what I was doing for the longest time. Just find like a cart that's there and then just cart your stuff in. Or you find like at the hotels, they got those little bell carts. You just load it up. They're like, just load it up. Put it back when you're done. All right, thanks. Yep. You can get it done even if you can't buy one. You can definitely get it done.
Yeah, having wheels is super helpful. And then we talked about snacks and drinks, because a lot of times, especially again, if you're vending by yourself, come prepared. Bring a little cooler, a little lunchbox, something insulated that has a snack or a drink and something in it. Because you may not have the opportunity to leave to go to the bathroom or to leave to grab a something to eat or a beverage. So bringing something with you, which I always do. I always have my water bottle plus a backup water bottle plus drinks for, Brian, my partner. And, we'll have a couple snacks, but because there's usually two of us, one of us can leave and go find something to eat and come back. But, not the food's not always good if they have food. Some venues don't have food. So bring something with you, be prepared, because if you're hungry, you're going to be grumpy, and that's not good for sales.
No,
So,
definitely not. Definitely not.
yeah.
I've noticed that a few times where how you feel is projected on how you do for the day. So I never go into a show where I'm like, oh, Mr. Grumpy. Nope, I'm happy. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
Put a smile on your face. Forget everything else. You're at a show. Enjoy every moment of it that you
Because
can.
you got to make them customers feel like you're feeling. And if you're feeling good, they're feeling good.
Exactly. I agree.
Yep.
Hey, Sean.
So what about money, Brittany? Should you bring money?
So we do sell a couple of little things, for the kids and that kind of stuff, along with our actual ball pythons and corn snakes and boas and whatever else we have for sale. We do sell other little things, which are like between $4 and $10. So bring change, even if it is an animal that you're selling. Let's say it's $250 for this snake and they give you $300 in hundreds. Can you make change for that? Can you give that customer change, or are you going to have to be like, ooh, I'm sorry, I can't break that? Like, again, you could lose that sale because you just weren't prepared for it. So I always make sure I have a stack of ones, a stack of fives, a stack of 10s, and a stack of 20s in my back pocket. We don't use a cash box or anything. I just literally keep it on me. So don't come for me, but that's where the money is, because I feel safe having it with me. And then if we do sell it, a toy or stickers or whatever it is we have for sale that day, I can immediately make change. And kind of going along with that, Sean, to your point, the money aspect of it is, this is kind of off topic from supplies, but have multiple forms of payment available. Don't just say I am cash only. You can absolutely do that. If you are cash only, be cash only. More power to you. But I take all different kinds of payments. And because I don't ever want a customer to be like, oh, well, I have to go to the ATM. That person just walked away.
Yep, they're never coming back.
Banking on them coming back. And a lot of times they don't come back. Something else is going to be shiny and catch their eye, and you're going to lose them. So I obviously take cash. I also take Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and credit cards. So I use Square personally. I know Square's fees just went up. It sucks, but we take whatever card you have. I'm not picky about it. We also kind of, again, going along with that, if somebody says that they are using a card, there is the cost of business, correct? Are you going to charge that customer the extra 3 to 5% on top of their purchase, or are you going to accept that as the cost of doing business and eat that 3 to 5% from that credit card charge? Something to think about.
Yeah, I know.
Personally, you eat it.
Yeah.
Cost of doing business.
I know if someone has come up to my table a couple times and you take credit card. At the time, I did not. And I said, well, I take cash, but there's an ATM. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I don't know, because of the fees. I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll just take the fees off. You just let me know how much it is, and I'll take that off that snake. If it's $5, where they charge you, I'll take $10 off the snake. That way they're getting a good deal. And, if I know they're going to come back.
You are just a businessman. That was brilliant.
I started when I was 6 years old in sales with my dad. So I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah,
I've always ate that little charge that Square hits you with. But I mean, what are you going to do? Be like, well, I'm going to charge you 3.5% because you're using your card.
Yeah, or if it's 3.5%, I'm just going to charge you. Go ahead and round it to 4% and take that extra 0.5%. Some people has done that. I mean, it's a. Mark has got a question in the chat, Sean. If you can.
All right, let me pull that up real quick. Oh, while we're getting that, I just want to say if y'all like what's going down right now, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment down below. Make sure you hit the bell so you never miss a moment of the Big Homies Breakdown or the Big Homies Corner every other Wednesday. It's me and Mike and all our friends, and we just get down and talk about whatever comes up to the table. Anyways, with that said, here you go. There's that question there. There's a lot of politics with different expo organizers where I live. If you try to vend with multiple organizations, you are likely to get blacklisted from another. Is that commonplace? Now, my experience, I've seen that a lot where one guy's like, "Oh, you vend for this guy, you can't vend here." All right, well then don't take my money. I'll go somewhere else. I think that's stupid. They're literally shooting themselves in the foot by not taking everybody's money. But it is pretty common in this reptile industry. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So we have,
have you ran into?
because I'm close to Pennsylvania, there are a lot of Pennsylvania shows. There's a few in Maryland, but Pennsylvania has, you can own pretty much anything in Pennsylvania. So they have a lot of exotic shows. And a lot of times, especially with the Oaks show, it'll overlap with things like Gettysburg. And I know that there is some animosity between certain promoters. For us personally, like we will always try and vend, as many different shows as possible. And as long as you're respectful and professional, then I think that should be reciprocal. It shouldn't be a matter of like, oh, well, you vended for Larry's show, so you can vend for, Diane's show or whatever.
Yeah.
So I have never experienced that issue. We do a variety of shows from a variety of different promoters. And again, I think it's always just a matter of being respectful towards them, and then you shouldn't get blacklisted. But if that happens, that's sad. That's disappointing. It's just never happened to us. Yeah. Well, I guess to kind of wrap up things, electrical cords. So we talked about lighting, right?
Oh, yes.
So having a big, long extension cord, because you do not know where your outlets, where your power source is going to be. Sometimes it's right behind the table. Sometimes it's across the aisle to get to an outlet.
Yep.
So you need to have a nice, big, long extension cord. And going along with that cord, you need to have duct tape, because a lot of times the shows will require you to tape down your cords because it is a slip, trip, fall hazard, which is a liability, which nobody wants. So,
or if you don't want to buy all that tape, you can buy one of those little rubber covers.
One of the rubber covers would work too, 100%. And then power strips, because you're going to have that big, long extension cord. You need to have, usually we have multiple lights. So we use a power strip or two and plug those in. And then we have our lighting plugged into the power strips. Yeah. So make sure you have tape, make sure you have scissors in case you need them. It's funny, like people know that I bring everything. Like my supply list is not short. I bring a spray bottle with water. I bring, obviously extra tablecloths and things like that. But I've had other vendors come up to me and ask me for things because they know, like, I'll have it. Like, I have all the random things that nobody thinks to bring. So be that person, bring all the extra things that you don't, whatever you can fit in that tote, bring it with you. You just never know. Like, when someone
there was one little thing you might have forgotten there. Maybe it's still on your list, but and I've seen this done two different ways, and I actually like the second way. But first was those little stress mats you get for behind your table. So when you're standing all day long. Now, I've seen somebody, and I can't remember who it was, but they went one up above that and got a really nice one for the customer to stand on while they're looking at the snakes. And I thought that was just epic, next level kind of stuff, because you're making the customer comfortable. And dude, you got to have them at least for yourself. At least for yourself, because you're standing all day long.
Well, you should be standing all day long. That's one of my other topics. But yes, 100%. So we have the 1-inch foam that like locks together like puzzle pieces, and we usually stick that down because by the end of the day, even with that foam, you're hurting. Your feet are hurting if you're doing your job and you're standing up and you're walking around and you're greeting people and all that. Like your feet will hurt. Like you're carrying around displays.
Yeah, they will definitely hurt. And if you're working the front of your table, then you got that nice little padding in the front too. You know, I like to work the front of my table more than being behind it, just because I like talking to people. If I talk to people, then they're gonna talk to me or
Be
walk
comfortable.
away. It's happened. It's happened.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
yeah, I've
yeah,
had it.
no, yeah, Mark Mandic, Marcus Jane Reptiles, he's talked about that. And that's, somebody, if you want to know how to set up a table and like wow people, you need to go follow him on Instagram. So Marcus Jane Reptiles, or I think it's just Marcus Jane maybe, but on Instagram. And he has done a post about his, where he started in his presentation and where he is now in his presentation at shows. And of having been to CRBE the last 2 years, you stop at that table. And he does talk about having the mats down and stuff like that too.
Hey, so
This is a wow table.
right. Damn. Uh, forgot what I was gonna ask you now. Damn it.
Oh no. Well, and we kind of talked about like, you want to be recognizable. So you want to, order some shirts, right? Like just
Oh yeah,
have a shirt
definitely.
with your logo on it, your name on it. You don't have to do a banner. Not everybody likes having the big banner behind them. But again, I think presentation wise, if somebody is like, oh, right, I saw that snake at this table and it had this logo on it, they're going to remember that and come back. Whereas if you
Yeah.
don't have that, if you're not identifiable at all, we have our banner, and then we also have our tablecloth that has our logo on it. So our logo is everywhere, because
You gotta have something that
want you
stands
to
out that
remember.
catches it.
Yeah,
Yep.
like remember
Catches
that table.
attention and help them remember. Yep.
Exactly.
100%.
So
100%.
that's how we do it. Again, this is just how I do it. Do what works for you. By no means am I an expert. I'm just here to share what knowledge I've gained from vending the shows for the last few years.
I like
But yeah,
having some
definitely
totes to
have
put that
tablecloths,
stuff in.
even if they're like Amazon black tablecloths, have tablecloths. Don't just have the bare
Yep.
table.
Hey, do you have a size for tablecloths? Do they just need one size, or are they going to need a couple of sizes because they've never been there?
Right. So a lot of shows, when you vend shows, you're either going to get a 6-foot table or you're going to get an 8-foot table. And then you can always buy more tables, right? Either the 6-foot or the 8-foot. So our tablecloth that is branded is, I believe, an 8-foot tablecloth. And then I have plain black ones that go on either end. If we do 2 8-foot, then we'll do the center will be the main logo one. And then on the ends, we'll have just plain black. So it all matches.
That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So it just depends on how many tables you have. And there's different ways to do it. Like the banner that was originally designed for me had a bunch of little logos like through the whole thing. But I was like, no, I want like one big one. And so you can customize it and do things how you want.
Yeah, it's your banner.
Yeah, it's your banner. Like make it how you want it to be. And then the last thing as far as supplies, which is not something that we typically do because we have done 2-day shows, but we usually do 1-day shows, is heat. So do you guys use heat when you use your displays or any of that?
I do sometimes. That's why I'm kind of
Hey,
like.
Britney,
Go ahead, Sean.
are you guys cutting out at all? Because she seems to be cutting out over here on my end when she was talking. So it kind of cut out a little bit. I don't know if anybody noticed that or not.
Hopefully not.
No, I think she's good.
Not.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
With the heat, that's why I was like, well, should I get the all in one and pay the extra, to get the light, or should I just use like the ARS or even the deli cups with the heat? I mean, I just kind of worry like with the heat tape, with them setting directly on top of it, because I've been using like wood shims like under the display.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like lifts it up a little bit, like a 1/4 of an inch. That way it's off the heat tape, so it doesn't rub it and cause problems.
Yeah, you could run it at like 80 degrees, and that would be fine for the show.
For sure. And you could do heat tape, you could do heat cable. So again, typically if it's a 2-day show, I know most people will put heat on their animals, like again CRBE, which we've mentioned a few times. They'll
if
usually
it's
do
a
heat.
2-day show,
Mm-hmm.
You got to bring like a blanket or something for the top of your table so you can cover it up at the end of the day. Yep.
Or you can be crazy like we are and unpack repack everything, take it home, and then come back the next day and reset it up. So that's what we do when we do a 2-day show. We don't tear everything down, but we do take the animals. We don't leave the animals.
Yeah.
We take the animals. So that's just our personal choice for security reasons and for temperature control reasons. We take them with us when we do things like Repticon. So.
And that nowadays you never know.
Well, winter shows, like you might want to have that heat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially here in Michigan and where you're at in Maryland, and so it's kind of chilly.
Do we have any other questions, or I can get into some do's and don'ts?
Ooh, what kind of do's and don'ts you got?
Well, the first one is to build a relationship. So it's a do, like do build a relationship. So I cannot tell you the number of times that we have interacted with people and they walk away and they did not purchase from us, but they see us at the next show and we engage with them and we talk to them and we educate them and they don't buy anything, but we see them at the next show and now they're ready and they want to take something home. What table are they coming to?
So the person made them comfortable.
Exactly. I spent the time, I educated them. I didn't care if I made the sale or didn't make the sale. It wasn't about that at the time. It was about engaging that person and asking them questions. So, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a male or a female? What species are you looking for? Do you want something active or you want something more laid back? You're getting to know their needs and their wants. And you're also in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I know this animal would be a good match, or maybe this one, or, I have this. And so you're ready to make the sale, but you're getting all of the information from them. So they feel like they are heard, they are listened to, and you're not just trying to make the sale. You're actually wanting them to know what kind of substrate to put in their enclosure, or, what kind of temperatures to set their enclosure to. You're giving them knowledge as well as gaining knowledge about them. So
I always love selling to those people that I've already encountered a few times, because it's like, all right, well, this person's, they either know what they're talking about or they don't. And at least they're educating themselves each time they come to the table.
Yes.
And then when they go and take that animal home, it's like they're really ready for it.
Right.
Yeah. The very first question. Go, sorry, Brittany.
No. I was agreeing.
Oh. The very first question, hey, do you have any reptiles in your home, or are you thinking about it? You already have the setup. Like last show was in first week of June. Gentleman come up to the table. I was, hey, how you doing? I don't have any yet, but I have everything. I have a red heat bulb, and I have the the bark and this and that. And I was like, well, you need something besides you really need the red heat lamp. You need like a ceramic or something, a heat map with the thermostat. Oh, okay. Well, I'll get a hold of you in the next couple of days after I get that. And he did, and he purchased, the snake, because he's like, I don't want to take it home, because the store, they're already closed, and stuff like that. So he just waited those few extra days. And I don't mind holding it a few extra days to make sure that their temps are right, because you don't want to just say, okay, well, it's going to take 2 or 3 days to get the temperatures right. In that enclosure for that specific animal, whether it be a ball python, geckos, bearded dragons, you got to make sure they're established. Just like with fish tanks, you don't buy the fish and just go home and fill up the fish tank and hope for the best. You want to make sure that animal has what it needs to thrive.
You can also put care sheets on your table for the animals you're selling. And then when somebody takes one of them animals home, you go, here you go.
Yep. That's a good safeguard in case they didn't catch all the information. But Mike, you said it exactly. Like, that's one of my go-to questions when people are at my table and I see them kind of looking around at what we have for sale. I'm like, oh, so do you have any snakes at home, or do you have any reptiles at home? Because that is immediately going to tell you their experience level. So you kind of know where to start with them, if you need to start at the very, basics, or you can engage with them differently as somebody who has more experience. So that's my first go-to question is, do you have snakes at home? Do you have other reptiles at home? So that's a great one, Mike. But yes, build relationships, work on those relationships, educate them, ask questions, give guidance, give advice. You don't don't think you're right about everything. Like, again, I'm giving you my knowledge, but am I right about everything? Maybe not for you. So maybe you do something differently, and that's okay, as long as it's good for the animals, right? But you don't
That's
just
hard to
want
teach some adults sometimes.
True.
Yeah, just like with frozen and live, they'll say, well, do you feed frozen or you feed frozen thaw, live or frozen thaw?
Yep. And that's
You know,
what
as
I always
babies.
like. I
Mhm.
always tell customers, when you're going to different tables, that's the question you need to ask: is what do
Yep.
you feed your animals? So we
It's
do
like for
mostly
the
frozen
first,
thawed,
yeah,
but
for
we
the
do
first
some
six
live.
meals. Yeah. Yep. Sorry,
So,
Brittany.
oh yeah, you're fine. But kind of like getting to
You just
know
get
you
excited.
guys. Yeah, getting to know you guys, and like, Sean I've met in person, and Mike I haven't met you in person yet. But not only do you want to build relationships with your customers or potential customers, but you want to build relationships with those vendors that are around you too. The not just the people that are walking through the aisle, but the people that are, at the table behind you, next to you.
Mhm.
Network with them, make referrals to them, get familiar with what they have
Build
for
some trust
sale.
with them too. Sometimes they might watch the table when you got to make an emergency run.
Yup. You are
Build
vending
trust
by
with the
yourself and you
vendors
got to
around you.
go. You
Yeah.
better have somebody there that's going to watch your stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, make friends with the people around you, engage with them as well. Refer your the potential customer, like, oh, I don't have that, but so-and-so down the row has it. So why don't you check them out? Or they might do the same for you later. Oh, I don't have that, but
Yep.
go see Fire Baby, go see, Sean, go see Mike. So you're networking and you're making those other relationships. I know Hamburg is one of my favorite shows to Vend because I'm surrounded by my people. Like, we all have the same, set up same tables every time, and we've gotten to know everyone really well. So you got Ian from Outback, you got, Dawn and Chris behind us, you got Rob and JJ down the row, like, all my people. Like, and I know if I have an emergency or if I'm vending by myself or I need help tearing something, getting my banner down because I'm short, I have a plethora of people that are around me that are going to help me out. So,
Mhm.
so not only is it good for sales, but it makes the shows more enjoyable.
Yes.
It really does when you can like decompress a little bit between talking to customers by just having a honest conversation with, the guy that's behind you or whatever. So build relationships, make it about the relationship. Don't always make it about the sale, right? And educate, it's not a burden and it's never a waste of time and it's never a mistake to take the time to say, yes, there are other people walking by, but this person is fixed and focused on you and they have tons of questions, like they are a complete beginner.
You got to answer them.
It's answer their questions. Answer their questions. It is, again, like that might be a huge, repeat customer down the road. You just never know. And, worst case scenario, you have at least equipped them to go buy from somebody else and not go home knowing nothing, because you don't know what that other vendor is going to tell them or not tell them. So at worst, you're making sure, like you guys said, that they are prepared to have that animal at home in the correct setup. Like you said, Mike, not throwing the fish in the fish tank day one, right? Like, you're making sure that they're prepared. So it's never a waste of time. It's never a mistake to do that. Presentation, we've kind of mentioned. So presentation, I think some people do lighting, some people don't do lighting. For me personally, and if you look around at a lot of the big, the quote unquote big breeders and like the people that are doing, like, again, Ian from Outback has like a wall of tables. Like, he's, big deal. And his lights are beautiful. And those animals just, you want to buy that animal because it's just
They
shining
pop
at you.
more.
Yeah.
They pop
So
more in the light.
Kind of like at
lighting
the jewelry
matters.
store.
Yeah, we just use ones from Amazon. So they're manipulatable, so you can kind of angle them different ways. So we just use the Amazon ones and they work wonderfully for us. You want to make sure that you set them to the right setting because you don't want the yellow light, you want the more bright white light. So make sure it has that setting on it. A lot of times they're like grow lights for plants are really good because they have that LED setting. So if you're looking for lights, just LED plant lights and see what comes up. Or even desk, the ones you can clamp on desks and stuff. If they have the
Yeah,
LED,
you can go on Amazon and type in desktop light, and
Yeah.
My luck, I have a purple one on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's not, you know, they don't have to be super expensive to look good. Displays, we kind of talked about displays. Again, you can do acrylic, you can do just deli cups, you can do the glass, you can do whatever is in your price point and whatever you think is going to make the best presentation for what you're bringing. Again, tablecloths and banners, I think they look really good. To have a banner, to have a tablecloth that is branded with your logo, that is memorable, I think is important. And then again, we kind of already talked about being clean, right? Like I need to wash my tablecloths. Like I really do, because you want it to look like you care, like you're professional, because it speaks to how you care for your animals.
And you don't want to bring none of the little pests home with you.
Also that, yeah.
For
sure. And then one of the things that Billy Rose said last night when we were chatting was, I thought, a really good point. If you're going to vend an expo, go to an expo and then look at it. Even if you've been to an expo before as a customer, go with the eyes of somebody that is looking to become a vendor and take a look at people's lighting and displays and how their tables are set up. You know, some people will have, nothing but a tablecloth and some deli cups, and they'll make great sales, or maybe they won't. Or you have the people, that are got the big, huge banners and all the bells and whistles and all the crazy lighting and signage and this and that. And maybe sometimes that's too much, or maybe sometimes that's what gets, people to the table. So at the end of the day, like, go to the expo and take note of what you like and what you would want to do and how you would want your table to look. So if you're going to vend an expo, go to an expo. Expo's coming up. Again, we mentioned CRBE in September. What is that, Mike? The 13th and 14th, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay, so that is the Canadian Reptile Breeders Expo. It is up in Canada, and depending on where you're at, if you can make it, you should go, because it's a great show.
Are you
it's a
going?
huge show. I am going. I'm going with my friend JJ, who also vends a lot of shows. Her and her husband vend like every show in this area. It's like they're never free on a weekend. But she's going with me, and she's never been, so I'm very excited for that. And then hopefully Tinley. What's that?
I said that'll be fun.
That will be fun. Yeah. Well, it'll be nice to not go by myself this time.
Yeah, I got to get my passport on my ID.
Mm-hmm. That is the thing. You don't need a passport to get into Canada. You do need it to get back home. So make sure you have a passport. So, yeah, that's important.
Here's my state driver's license that don't work.
Yeah, I know.
Back in the day when I was still in the military, you used to be able to show your military ID and go across the Vancouver line. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I remember those days.
But
you didn't need all the bells, all the things to cross the border. But yeah, now you do. But yeah, Tinley's coming up in October, so we hope to not vend it, but I'm definitely hoping to go. The next show we'll probably vend is Hamburg in October. So during the summer, Brian has another business, so he can't really spend a lot of time doing shows. But in the fall and winter, we'll definitely hit the shows. So October Hamburg is in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. It's no longer in Hamburg. But again, Pennsylvania, if you want to go to a show that's like a big show that you're going to see venomous stuff and like crocodilians and like all this stuff that like we can't have in Maryland, go to a Pennsylvania show, go to Hamburg, because you're going to see some wild and crazy stuff that you do not see other places. So go to, I guess the point being, if you're going to vend a show, go to a show.
I think that's always the funnest part, is when you go to a different state and then you see, oh, wait, they don't have that in my state.
Right.
And then it's a game of what do I need to do to have this thing at home with me?
Yeah, exactly.
For the first couple of years before I was vending, I would go to the local shows and just see what everyone was working with, the jeans, ball pythons, or different things, and that's how I chose the jeans that I work with, because not very many people up here work with them.
There you go.
With like Sunset and those combos, and some people that's ugly. It's like, I can't see it anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to have what somebody else is not going to have at the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're doing some cool pairings. I'm excited.
For
So
sure.
that's what to do, right? So what about things not to do? So I think, Sean, you're the one that said about your feet getting tired.
Yeah.
Because don't sit down. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is when you have a question about an animal that's in front of you on the table and that person is sitting there and they're like this. And I'm like, I have a question. I want to see this. I want to know about this animal. And they're sitting there texting away on their phone and they're sitting down and they're not engaging. And it's like, I guess I'm going to the next table then.
If my old broken crippled ass can spend 8 to 10 hours behind the table, I mean, you guys can do it too. Sometimes I do sit down though. It takes a toll on my knees. But
well, when it gets slow, like every once in a while, like I don't sit. I personally I get energized by being there. Like I just love doing shows. But we do often have a chair just in case one or both of us needs to kind of take a little break off of our feet. But that's only when the show is like dying down. Like that's when we'll maybe sit for like
it's like
5
the last
minutes.
hour and a half of the show or so.
But yeah, as soon as somebody walks up to the table, like I'm on my feet. Hey, how you doing? Do you have any snakes at home? What are you looking for? Can I show you something? Whatever. I'm on my feet pretty much all day. And it hurts. But having the foam is a night and day difference from not having the foam. So.
And like you were saying, like with the squares too, they're a lot smaller. So you can, put a stack of them in a tote, so you don't have like this big rug you're trying to roll up and carry that thing up to the car. And
that's exactly the reason why I got those instead of the mat, because the mat I feel like is a little more cumbersome to try and move around, whereas the squares we just stick on top of a tote and roll it in.
Did you get them on Amazon?
I think so, but you have to be careful because a lot of them are going to be the really thin foam.
Really thin
you want to look for the ones that are like at least an inch.
Okay.
Like it's a big difference, or at least 3/4 of an inch. You don't want the half inch. The half inch is doing you no favors. You might save a couple bucks, but it's not helping you. Do the 3/4 to 1 inch.
Okay.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Other things, again, this was kind of brought up last night on the call, is don't leave empty spots. So whenever you sell something, try and put something in its place if you are able. We are not always able to do that if we don't have extra animals. So you write sold on there, and some people will say, oh, I leave an empty one on purpose and mark it sold, so people think, there's scarcity and they don't want to leave the table because they might not, the animal they want might not be there when they get back. And I get all that. That is strategy, and you can do that. But also, if you go to a table that has like 5, 6, 7, 10, 12 empty spots, then there's not a lot to engage with, or there's not a lot to see. So try not to have empty spots if you can help it. Try and fill those spots with something else that, number one, it could make you a sale. And number two, it just looks, full. And, when you go to a store, think about when you go to a store, right? You don't want to see a bunch of empty shelves. You want it to look like it's been restocked. So,
or if you've got a couple of displays, you can consolidate into one display.
100%.
Yeah, some of them have like
engaged. Yeah, them empty tables will definitely not keep people wanting to be engaged. They're like, no, this guy's almost out. Let's go somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, some of the displays they have take the divider out.
Yeah, exactly. That too. Yep. So there's a lot of tricks you can do with that. Again, don't use dirty delis. Don't use dirty displays. Don't reuse snake bags that are already, written on and you have to scratch it out to write the new ID. Use it. They're spending good money. Give them a new fresh deli. Give them a new fresh bag. Like don't use
cheap out on
it. Yeah, don't have your displays be dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a snake like that one time.
Stuff. Oh no.
Yeah, the original animal was crossed out, and then my animal was put on the bag. I called them like, "Hey, what happened?" It's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I put the wrong animal on that bag, but I didn't want to waste the bag." I was like, "All right, cool." So, but yeah, you're like, something else was in
It
this
makes
bag.
you question. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
all right, well, shit. Now the quarantine's an extra 45 days.
Yeah, exactly. Quarantine. Yeah, do quarantine.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the smart,
100%.
wise thing to do. Because you never know. As somebody who has gotten animals with RIs and mites in my collection, I have luckily, we've survived it, but it has happened, and quarantining is recommended.
Dude, it's a nightmare.
Ugh, mites are terrible. They're just, ugh. But so in RIs, you got to do all the injections. And again, if you're not familiar, that's how you treat an RI is you have to give injections. It's not fun for the snake. It's not fun for you. So my next don't be afraid to haggle. You do not have to accept the first offer that somebody makes to you, and they don't have to accept the first offer that you make to them. So don't be afraid to haggle. I think about this one time where somebody made me kind of a lowball offer, but it was a snake that I knew I wasn't going to use, but I knew maybe I could get more for him, but he wasn't, I just kind of went back and forth with it. And the guy was really insistent, like, come on. Like, you'll take this deal. I know you will. And I let it go, and I let the animal go to this person who was kind of pushy. And I still think about that to this day. Like, should I not have sold that animal to that person that was being really pushy? Because now I think about that animal that meant something to me, and I'm like, I hope he's in a good home. Because
it's always that
for
what
him
if.
to have been so hard about, like, it was, I just think about those things. So don't be afraid to haggle. Don't be afraid to counteroffer. And if you don't make the sale, it's not the end of the world. Oh, Sammy, what's up, Sammy?
Yeah.
If you don't make the sale, it's not the end of the world. There will be more sales, but don't sell to somebody if you are, worried about where that animal might be going to, because they're being pushy. So
even if it's like a $25-$30 difference, it's like, okay, I have 300 on it, and you want to offer me 275. How about we flip for the difference? If I win, it's 300. If you win, it's 275. That way,
Yeah, I've done that a few times on the coin flip.
I've never done that. That's a good idea.
Yep, I've done the coin flip.
And generally, if you pick heads usually wins. So it's like, okay, I'll let you call it, and if it's tails and I win, it's like, okay, just go ahead. Sometimes I'll just go ahead and give it to them too. And then I'll keep coming back. So
that's a good trick. I like that. I might have to use that. The next thing I have on my list is don't be a jerk, or like don't be in the way of other vendors. So again, when we vend, we have 3 totes, we have 3 displays usually, plus all of our delis, and that equipment takes up space. Now, granted, we usually have 2 tables, so the totes go under the tables, the dolly goes under the table, like anything that is not necessary goes under the table where it's put away, where it's not in anyone else's way. And then the banner, we always make sure the banner is positioned so that if anybody's going to feel a little bit cramped by the banner, it's going to be us. It's not going to be the people behind us or the people to the side.
Don't bring your 10-foot banner to the 6-foot table.
Correct. But I cannot tell you the number of times where I've been tripping over other people's crap, and they just have their totes out in the middle of the aisle, or where you're trying to be, and they're blocking stuff, and it drives me nuts. Like, be considerate of the other vendors. Put your stuff away. Don't be in the way. Be neat, be tidy, to the best that you can at a reptile show. But yeah, like, I just can't tell you the number of times where I'm like, why does he have that there? Like, move your stuff so that I can get through, that kind of thing. So,
and you're trying to get through, and they're just standing there like, It's like, come on, please, you see me trying to come through.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially, not everybody is as able-bodied or coordinated as, I'm going to trip it. I'm clumsy. Like, I will trip and I will fall and I will hurt myself. Like, try and have it, kind of tidy, kind of neat. And just don't be in the way. Don't be rude. And that kind of thing.
Don't be a jackass.
Yeah, pretty
don't
much.
be a jackass.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody likes that guy. No. And then the last 2 things I have on my don't list they kind of go hand in hand. Number 1, don't be late. Raise your hand if you've been late to Mexico. It was all my fault. I can't blame Brian. It was my fault. I was running late, and we had 20 minutes to set up. So that's not where you want to be. Like, you don't want to be 20
No.
minutes to set up before the doors open. You want to be there like in a good amount of time so you can take your time, get your displays,
You can
looking
do all your
good,
checks.
do all the checks. Exactly. Like, that's something that I feel like people don't plan time for, or just sometimes don't even do. But like, take a step back in front of your table and pretend you're the customer. What do you see that needs to be tweaked or fixed? Are all of your displays labeled? That's something that we have in the past, maybe missed a couple where we're like, oh shoot, I forgot to put the gender on this one. Like, do your final checks of like, everything is labeled, everything is out and displayed, the business cards are out, the stickers are behind the where they're supposed to be, and I have my markers out and ready to go. Like, just don't be late.
Be prepared.
And be prepared. Yes, be prepared for any scenario. And then kind of going along with that, don't leave early. Unless, of course, it's an absolutely terrible show. But for the most part, if you leave early, you're missing opportunities. There was a show that we vended, which was a very small show, and it was not promoted very well, and it was pretty dead. And
I've been to some shows like that.
yeah. And Brian was pushing and pushing and pushing that by noon we were going to be out of there. But I just like being at expos. I don't care how big they are or how many people come. Like, I'm just like there to talk and hang out and like be friends with everybody. So I was like, can we please just stay like an hour, 2 hours? And we made an extra like $600 because we stayed.
Yeah. So, I wait till they kick me the hell out, and I put the animals away last. Because I always get like a sale or two, like a vendor will be like, hey, you still want to sell that? Yeah. I don't want to take it home.
Yeah, that's what I like about the promoter that I Vend. They make sure that by 9:45, if you're there set up, make sure everything's set up, and that way they can go through and do all their checks, and they vet people very, very well. And then you're not breaking down before 3:01 is when you can start breaking down because the show closes at 3. But if there's people in there, try to be respectful, like you were saying, because you never know that the person been there all day waiting. I'm not going to get it until they leave, and then you're all packing up, and they're like walking out the door, and they're like, "Oh, I was going to get that from you." And some people say, "Well, I already got it packed up. I'm not, not interested in it." But
I've met a couple of people at my tables where they're like, some shows will do like the last hour for free or whatever, and that's when I get some customers like the first time ever to a reptile show, they want to do the free little last hour or whatever, and that's when you'll have people sitting there the longest is right there at the end of the day. Like, you're missing out on making relationships, you're missing out on sales. And then the customer, like, if they come in and that's their first time at that show and they're like, there's like 4 people here, why the frick would I pay for a table? You know what I mean? Or pay for entry to come into this lame ass show. Like, you know what I mean? It hurts everybody all around.
Yeah, especially if it's like 250 and people are just coming through the door. You got to make sure that it's still full in there with your stuff set up on the tables. And some places they charge $10 to get in, some is $5, and that's their customers' money.
Yep.
I only broke down early once.
Yeah. Some promoters,
I was like, dude, there's like 200 people all weekend come through that damn door. I'm going home.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, Mike, some promoters will require that you not break down until the end of the show. So if you do break down before the end of the show and the promoter has that rule, you may not be invited back to the next show. So that is something to consider. And like you said, Sean, I think is the last thing that comes down is what is for sale. Those animals stay up until everything else is packed. And then, right before the show's over, close them up. And then you're ready to roll out the door in a good, so you can get home because, we're tired. It's been a long day. But they're the last things that go. Like, the banner comes down first. Like, we don't need that to be up, 30 minutes before the end of the show. Like, we can take that down. And we just start doing little things until it's time to actually go home. And then we will put the displays away.
Yeah.
Because again, it's missed opportunities. Like you said, like sometimes those are the people that you're going to engage with the most, that are the last ones. And again, like I know that I talk too much, and I have been still talking after the show's over to a potential customer, and Brian's like, hello, like we gotta go.
Yeah.
But I just, I'd rather spend that time and have that, put our name out there and have it be remembered than blow that
Yeah, you
person
just
off
never
because I
know.
want to go home. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say the relationship's probably the most important thing you can build when you're trying to sell snakes to people. And in an industry where everybody's got the same shit, nobody wants to branch out and do jeans that nobody else is doing because why? I don't know why. But,
Mm-hmm.
In a place that's saturated with ball python breeders, you have to stand out amongst your peers. You have to find a way to tell those customer bases, hey, look, come buy from me.
Yep.
Whether that's like a display that sits up 5 feet above everybody else's table, or just the way you set up your booth, whatever. People remember that stuff, and you start to build a relationship, and then that's where all your real sales come from. Your repeat buyers, the guys that the animals are going to good homes, and you're like, all right, bet, yeah, I like this. And then it just makes things way
Absolutely.
easier, especially if you got a little bit of recognition, and you're being recognized for what you've done already,
The right
Yeah,
things.
for sure.
yeah, like, oh dude, you told me how to clean the tub out, you told me how to set up a quarantine section. Oh shit, is there an earthquake over there, Brittany?
Sorry, I hit the table.
That happens. Like I
you
had
know
some people. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
no, you're good, go ahead, Mike.
No, like me trying to stand out is like a needle in a haystack. It's like, okay, I got to figure out how to get these people and convince them that with me being visually impaired / blind, I don't know how people classify me, but it's like, okay, hey, do you have any reptiles at home? No, my mom won't let me. They bite. Or no, my wife won't let me because she's scared of them because they bite. I said, okay, where's she at? Go get her.
Yeah.
I said, well, you're scared of, yeah, I'm scared they're going to bite me. I said, close your eyes and reach over here. Well, I don't know what I'm reaching for. Because that's, me, like, I can't see. I take a paper towel when I open up the tub because generally I know where they're at. Like, if the front of the tub's kind of heavy, when I pull it out, they're in the front. If it's not as heavy, they're towards the back. And I told them that's just how I do it. So you can't be scared because if you're going to be scared, I'm going to get bit. It might happen. It may or may not. That's a chance that people take. But
If
I
it's
just
an
try to keep
animal and it has
it.
teeth, it could
Mhm.
probably bite you. Just
Yep.
like
And
your
I
dog,
say,
cat, your pet raccoon that for some reason you keep feeding cat food to every other night.
yeah. And then when they say that, I'll say, well,
Teeth, it could bite you.
yeah. They say, did they bite? I said, well, everything bites has teeth.
Yep.
Then I'll look to my
Yeah.
left and look at my daughter, and she'll say, shut up. I said, well, she has teeth. She might bite. And people just start laughing, and that's when we get into conversations about it. But it's just
Yeah.
interact, like you were saying, Brittany, interacting with the people and,
Right.
talking to them.
That's what I always say. I'm like, well, anything with a mouth could bite you. I could bite you. I'm
Yeah.
not going to, but you have to be prepared for that. And I just wanted to jump back to displays real quick because again, you don't have to necessarily spend the big money on like the fancy displays if you don't want to. For our adults, so for the hatchlings and the subadults, we always use the ARS or again sometimes the delis. But for our adults, I actually go to the dollar store and buy the $3 tote bins with the locking lids. And then we do the flip upside down thing. So the lid's on the bottom and then the clear is on top. And that's
Yeah,
how
I've
we
seen you
just
set up
stack
like
them.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen you set up
And
like that. That's
it
not a
doesn't
bad idea.
it's not bad. It doesn't look, super cheesy. I know some people really hate that. Like there's
And
certain people I've heard that are like, that's
if
so
you want to
cheesy.
put air holes in them, get a soldering
You
iron and
do put,
just heat it
yep.
up and poke them so you don't crack your tubs.
Yeah, well, because I do use a drill and I have cracked tubs, so the soldering iron
Yep.
is probably a better idea.
Yep. I
But
lost
yeah,
many a tub with a drill.
yeah,
Some people's had them in Chinese food containers and cupcake
right,
containers. It's like, oh goodness.
yeah. Yeah, but you can improvise. Like go
Yeah.
look around and see what you can find that you can improvise that is going to still look good, that you can keep clean, that it can safely house your animals for display.
Yep.
So I did want to jump back and mention that. But yeah, when it comes to like making those relationships, especially with other vendors, be complimentary. Like, wow, like you're working on that project, that's really cool. Or, wow, I've never seen that kind of animal before. Like, be honest, like, don't like blow smoke, right? But, find something positive that you can point out and, just make them feel good. Like, I would want somebody to tell me that my animals were beautiful, right? So, try and build those relationships through positivity, and then don't judge, right? Maybe they don't have the higher end stuff. Like maybe they do have more lower end stuff, but hello, that's what most people are at a reptile show for, is just a pet, and they don't want to spend $1,000 on a pet. So they're going to make good sales. They're going to do well. So, let them like stay positive for that. And don't judge other people's collections. Like, oh, he only has this, or, oh, she's doing that, she's working with spider. Oh my gosh. Like, don't judge. Like, let people be, let them live, like, let them do their thing. Like, and you do your thing and be good with what you're doing. Like, you don't have to judge other people for what they're doing. Just let them be. Because that's how you're going to get those referrals, right? Like people referring to you, you referring to them. So, and then customer loyalty, again, it's never a waste of time to engage and educate. And then, here's another thing. So know your animals. Like if a kid walks up to my table and says, "Can I please hold a snake?" The answer is yes, but we go about it a couple different ways. Like, which one do you want to hold? Like, oh, I really want to hold that one. Depending on which one they pick, I might be like, absolutely, let me get it out for you, and let them hold it once they hand sanitize. Or if I know that that's a nippier individual, I might say, well, that one can be a little bit tricky. Why don't we try this one? And most of the time they're like fine with it. The other thing I do, or if it's really busy or if it's towards the end of a show, I will pick for them. Like, oh, you want to hold a snake? No problem. This is the one I get out for kids. And I will usually get out a snake like my girl Charlie back here. So she's a big old female ball python, but like not head shy at all, not bitey at all. Like you can literally do anything to this snake and she like does not care. Like she's like, whatever, I'm out, like, So I have, you might want to have a snake like that at your table that you can get out for people that, especially for kind of like what you guys were talking about, the people that have never held a snake before and they're worried it's going to bite them. They're worried that something bad might happen. And you get that snake out that you trust, that is going to not bite, and you introduce them to that animal and build that positive association so that if you do encounter something in the future where maybe they get a little nip from a hatchling or something, it's not the end of the world. They're like, oh. And I always tell people, like, if you're going to get bit, it's like getting a shot at the doctor. You feel it for a second, and then it's like, I got to go wash my hands now, right? Like it's usually not a big deal if you do get a bite. Bites happen, right?
You can get salmonella from it, I believe. In some cases, you can get salmonella from a ball python bite.
In some cases, yeah, it's not common, but yeah. So
I found out when I was in the Army, my ball python bit me a couple of times, and I got really sick. They're like, "How'd you get salmonella?" But I couldn't tell them I had a snake in my barracks room. I was like, I don't know. I'm sick.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh. But yeah, definitely, like, if somebody does get bit, like, take care of them. Or if they get pooped or peed on, which again unfortunately has happened. And I always tell people when that happens, when they get pooped or peed on, I'm like, well, at least they're healthy and they're eating and drinking. Like,
hey, at least they're comfortable enough to relax themselves to do that with you holding it.
Yeah, right. Like, don't make it like, oh, don't panic. Don't panic. Like, just, it happens. Clean it up.
I had one sitting on my table. This lady and her daughter come up and they're holding this snake, and like I see her reaching for her wallet, and the snake just drops a big old deuce all over her arm, and she was grossed out by it and like got me the snake back real quick, and I'm pulling out the paper towels and the sanitizer, and I'm like, let me get that for you. But she didn't.
Yeah.
So they come in with a tank top and it just right down the front of the tank top.
It's happened to me multiple times, unfortunately. Like we try and not, like we don't feed them. Like if we have a show on Saturday, we'll usually try and feed no later than Wednesday, so that they're at least partially, things are moving through the system, and hopefully they won't get pooped or peed on. But you just never know. It happens.
Yo, so real talk. The last time I was at Tinley, I'm not gonna say no names because it's embarrassing as hell. But I walked around the corner and I seen this gal with a snake, and she was looking at it, and this snake straight peed in her mouth. Uh-oh, we lost Fire Baby. Anyways, yeah, that snake straight peed in her mouth. I don't know what's going on. Britney. All right, let's move her backstage for now. All right. So
we're going an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, man. So I don't know what's going on with Britney right now. It seems like we've lost her. Yeah, she's officially gone now. If you guys want to get a hold of her, she's got an Instagram, Fire Baby. She's all over the place, man. You guys just go give her a follow, and she's really educational, man. She knows so much. She knows so much.
Yes, Fire Baby LLC.
Oh yeah, it's LLC. Oh look, hold on, we got her back. She came back. We were just gonna wrap everything up. What happened?
Messed up. My partner Brian called, so my phone was like, "Oh, we're taking a phone call now." It's like, "No, we're not." And then my camera won't turn. I don't know.
Yeah. Britney, would you like to tell the audience how we can get a hold of you through all your socials and your contact information, just so people can reach out to you, give you follows, all that kind of stuff?
The best way to get a hold of me is my Instagram, which is just Fire Baby BP, as in ball pythons. Although we do more than just ball pythons, but Fire Baby BP. And then, yeah, Instagram's really the best way to get in touch with me. I do have a Facebook, but it's really like my personal Facebook. I don't post a lot of reptile content on there. But I do all my reptile content, all the updates, what's in the incubator, what we're hatching, what pairings and locks we've gotten. I try and update that pretty regularly. I'm not the best at it. I'm not a huge social media person or in front of the camera person, even though I've done these like numerous times now, because you get me talking about reptiles and then I'm more comfortable. So, but yeah,
really
I would just use the Instagram. And then Morph Market, of course, we are on Morph Market under stores, Fire Baby.
Is that Fire Baby or is that Fire Baby BP?
I think it might still be BP. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's how I see it when I go on my Morph Market. I'm already following it.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah. Well, we thank you so much, Britney. We're going to throw you backstage and wrap the show up now. And
thank you.
Love having you on, and you're always welcome on the show, Britney. Thank you for coming on.
All right. See ya.
What's up, Mike?
A lot of great knowledge there from Britney.
Yeah, dude. She was just dropping bombs of knowledge. I like it. And
hopefully
that's the whole part about this show. We're just trying to educate people and be an outlet for someone to learn something, Well, maybe one of these days we're going to do an episode on you, Mike.
On me?
Keeping. Yeah, I mean, bro.
Yeah, we could. I mean, there could be there could be people out there with.
I put down in the comments below if you want us to do a show about Mike being a blind breeder and maybe some of the things he does. Put it in the comments. If we get 20 comments saying that we want to see Mike do a show like that, we'll have Mike on as the guest. Anyways, guys, what's that, big guy?
So if you come in late watching it, put in hashtag replay homies.
Oh,
and
yeah.
hashtag blind breeder.
Yep. Hashtag blind breeder.
For sure. We appreciate everybody coming in.
You guys make sure you be kind to somebody. Like Brian Barczyk would always say, just be kind to somebody. It's really what helps this industry go around. So with that said, we're out. Thanks for coming in tonight, guys. We appreciate everybody that showed up, watched, commented, and interacted with us. We'll see you next time.